Hello, dear friends. Welcome to our special live stream. It's August 19th, 2020. My guest today is Andrei Piankovsky, a scientist, political writer and analyst. He's about to join me from Washington. Hello, Andrei, can you hear me? Hello, Alexander, I can hear you. We would all like to hear your opinion on the current events in Minsk. What is the potential of this protest and for the revolution in Belarus that hasn't happened yet? Andrei, you have the floor. I believe that during the past 2 days, including this morning, some interesting statements were released by Moscow. A short-term scenario for the ongoing process in Belarus has been set. After some serious hesitation, Moscow decided that no matter how corrupt Lukashenko was, he was still the right guy, so they would pull their weight supporting him. Just a few days ago, pro-Kremlin journalists began acting strange. They started vilifying Mr. Lukashenko in a variety of ways and speaking out against police brutality in his country, which was the right thing to do. The thing is that Moscow had two possible choices. It could either keep supporting Mr. Lukashenko while trying to finally make him put up with something Moscow desires during the last 25 years. In the Kremlin they call it a deep integration, which means state absorption by Russia, also known as an annexation or the Anschluss. On the other hand, Moscow could betray Lukashenko, have a new presidential election and support a candidate who would be suitable for the Kremlin. Ideal candidates are Mr. Tsipkala and Mr. Babarika. So Moscow could try to use either of them to unite Belarus in the future. I gotta give it to Lukashenko, literally attacking Putin with his calls during the past 3 days. He promised to finally go straight and to allow the annexation of Belarus that he had been stubbornly resisting for quite a long time. He was doing this not because he was a committed patriot. He simply didn't want to become a governor of a new Russian region. The struggle lasted for 25 years, as the first attempts began back at the times of President Yeltsin. But during his recent phone calls, he asked Putin for help and assured him that he was taking the deal. Vladimir Putin had the casting vote in all this, and there was one more reason for him to provide assistance. He didn't wish to set a precedent in people's minds that would pose a threat to himself. The fall of a dictator brought down by the citizens not in some far-off Tunisia or Libya, but here in Belarus, which is so close, is something to worry about. So Moscow will now support Lukashenko in many ways. This means both politically and military support. Of course, I'm not talking about sending as many troops as were sent to invade Hungary in 1956 or to Czechoslovakia in 1968. That many troops are not necessary there. Moscow doesn't need to occupy the territory of the entire country with tanks and establish occupation forces in each town. It simply needs to provide reinforcements for oppressors in Belarus. A gang of elite combatants under the command of General Kara is serving Lukashenko. We know 1,500 people and their names are known. They made good progress suppressing the protest rallies during the first 3 days. But the protest grew and they now lack power and can't spread all over the country, because there are only enough troops for Minsk. So I'm quite sure that Vladimir Putin has already provided effective military support by increasing the number of troops fivefold. In order to do this, he simply needed to send 6,000 elite troops from the Russian Guard. Those troops were trained to suppress protest rallies in Russia. If they wear Belarusian police uniforms, no one would notice the difference, since they speak the same language. I assume that this decision from the Kremlin inspired Lukashenko, and he made some harsh statements that may soon be followed by actions, such as arresting members of the opposition council. The 4 phone conversations between the Mot and the Roach are not without consequences. Vladimir Zhirinovsky, a Russian politician known for disclosing a number of insights, has declared today that Belarus is to become a part of Russia by the end of the year. Do you believe Mr. Zhirinovsky in this case? He is wrong. Belarus is not going to become a part of Russia. I will explain this later on. Still, he is talking about the agreements reached between Putin and Lukashenko. A part of this plan has been revealed by Lukashenko himself. He suggested reform in the constitution that may be executed within the next few months. The new amendments may drastically reduce the power of the president, or there may be some other favorable things. But a number of articles will implicitly include a legal basis for the annexation. During the past 3 months, Putin demanded assistance from Lukashenko as he wanted to reset his president term by becoming the president of the united country of Russia and Belarus. So Lukashenko sold out the majority of Belarus except for 2 things. He didn't want to use a single currency. Instead, he prefers the national currency. He also didn't allow people to form united public authorities, such as the president, parliament and courts. Alone, this would drive a wedge through Belarus independence. But now this will be included into the new amendments to the constitution. And the people of Belarus will be told that the political system is changing. The power of the president is going to be reduced, and the hated Lukashenko's power is declining. So, as was suggested by Mr. Zhirinovsky, Belarus would become a region of Russia that way. Such is the plan of Putin and Lukashenko. But I think that this plan won't be implemented. We've been reading the tea leaves regarding the future of Belarus, but here's one inescapable conclusion we can draw from this. Belarusian civil society appeared before our eyes. We all were overwhelmed with witnessing hundreds of thousands of citizens who appeared beautiful, self-confident, pretty and intelligent Europeans. From now on, Lukashenko won't be able to suppress those people and to corner them under the rule of Putin. However, such is the plan of the 2 dictators. I assume this plan is clear enough, and they will now act as fast as possible to implement it. So the repressions will get worse in the coming days through the efforts of the solid reinforcement that came from Moscow to support Lukashenko. Thank you very much for this dialogue. I also thank all the viewers for watching the show. Make sure to watch Sotnik TV.